By this time tomorrow, you might just have your dream coaching business finally launched. Even if you've been thinking about it for months or years, today we are gonna cut through the overwhelm and break it down into just 4 simple steps. When I first thought about becoming a coach, my biggest worry wasn't finding clients or setting up a website. It was, am I even qualified to do this? And if you're anything like I was, you might be sitting there, maybe even at your job right now, knowing that you can help people, but feeling stuck that you don't have the right credentials. I remember I actually sat there in my cubicle Googling, do I need a certification to become a coach? But the industry has changed so much in the last decade, and I'm gonna share with you what's working now. But this first piece hasn't changed. In case you didn't know, my very first coaching offer was helping people with Microsoft Excel. Did I have a certification to do that? No, I did not. But I was the Excel wizard at my job who everyone came to when they needed help with a formula, shortcut, or macro. The point being, I had the skills to help people solve their problems. And that's what coaching is really about, having the experience to help your soon-to-be clients get results. So step 1 is to get clear on what makes you qualified to coach. And this is where it gets really interesting because coaching has evolved so much. You might have heard a popular unwisdom before, that a real coach never gives advice or tells clients what to do. Instead, they ask the client questions and help them figure it out on their own. But if you do just that these days, people are gonna think that you're a scam. Nowadays, clients want what I call Coachsulting. To my knowledge, I had a rare moment of brilliance and came up with this term. But it's a perfect blend where you're still helping clients unlock their own wisdom, and you're also saying, hey, this is exactly what you should do, just borrow my experience. Now, about those certifications, and this is real talk because this is what I wish someone would have told me when I first started out. Occasionally, some industries do require special licenses or certifications, but if you are in one of those rare industries, you already know, and so we don't need to talk about that. Because for most types of coaching, what you actually need is the experience to help your clients get results. Using my own long and windy journey as an example, I've also done career coaching because my friends started asking me how to switch your industry, how to get a managerial position, how to get a 6-figure salary, and I naturally started giving them advice, digital ads consulting, because I'd built up that skill in my career. So when I saw a business owner asking for help with ads on Facebook, I reached out and said, hey, I can help you. Fun fact, she actually ended up becoming my first ads client, which we'll get to in a bit. And now, business coaching? When I first started, I'd already built my first online business to 6 figures before leaving my job. People started asking me how I've done it, and fast forward to now, I've helped well over 3,500 coaches start and grow their own coaching business. As I'm sharing these, is any of this sparking an idea for you, where you're thinking, wait, my friends ask me about X all the time? So it comes down to just one question. What experience do you have that you can leverage to help others get a specific result? That's what makes you qualified to coach. And I truly believe that pretty much everyone has some sort of expertise that could change someone else's life. You just have to own it. But if you're thinking, well, Luisa, I'm still not sure what my experience could be, we are going to get that handled right now. In fact, we are going to identify your perfect coaching niche, even if you don't think you have one yet. But first, let me hopefully save you from something that I see way too many aspiring entrepreneurs try to do, spending months or even years trying to come up with this amazing, never done before idea. I get it. I remember sitting on my gray sofa every single weekend trying to come up with my own version of the next Facebook. That's how I wasted 2 years trying to figure out my perfect idea. Because the reality is, your perfect coaching offer is already staring you right in the face. Because the cool thing about coaching is that coaching results are usually pretty straightforward, like helping someone find a relationship, working with them to lose 20 pounds, or landing a job with higher pay. But this is also where you might be thinking, sure, Luisa, what if the thing I want to help people with is more abstract, like finding happiness or building confidence? Don't worry, I've got you too. Except you're going to use this question to help you get clear. What does someone's life actually look like after working with you? What are the tangible changes in their day-to-day? Let's make step 2, finding your coaching idea, super practical. There are 3 places I'm going to recommend you look. Your current job skills, the ones you're using right now, any personal obstacles you've overcome, and skills you've picked up along the way. When I was starting out, believe it or not, I was exactly where you might be right now. I had no idea what business I could build. In fact, I thought all my skills and experiences were too simple or too boring. So I did this exact exercise. I remember thinking, all right, Luisa, what do you actually know? I spent all day in Microsoft Excel creating awesome reports. Later on, I built a career in the digital ad space, which is also where I'd figured out how to land a managerial role, switch industries, manage a big team, and get to a 6-figure salary. You already know what I started with, Excel. But you might not realize what I was thinking and feeling at the time, which I think might be really helpful for you as well. Because was I jumping up and down so passionate about Excel? Absolutely not. But here's why I still started with it. It was the easiest place for me to start, and I knew I could help people get results. And that's why what I just shared with you is important for you to hear. You don't have to find the thing that you want to do forever right now. You just have to pick something to start with. After thousands of case studies, I have seen this over and over. Taking imperfect action beats perfect planning every single time, including turning what you know into your very first coaching package. Again, we are keeping step 3, creating and packaging your very first coaching offer, super simple, because that's all you need to get started. For length, start with a 3-month coaching program. Why 3 months? I have tested every single length that you can think of, from 2 weeks to a year. And I think this is the sweet spot for new coaches. Long enough to help your clients start getting results, but not so long that it's an overwhelming commitment for your clients or for you. Plus, 3 months makes it really easy for you to structure your package too. Because think about it like a container. First question to ask yourself is, what can I actually help someone achieve within 3 months? For example, if you're a health coach, maybe you can help someone lose 20 pounds. Or if you're a confidence coach, maybe you can help them be able to feel confident speaking up at work meetings. Then ask yourself, what needs to happen in month 1, 2, and 3 to help someone get to that result? Essentially, you're setting weekly and monthly goals by reverse engineering the result. This is exactly what I've done for every single one of my own coaching businesses. For example, when I first started business coaching, I broke it down like this. Month 1, we are going to get really clear on your business offer, idea, and digital presence. Month 2, start connecting with potential clients and aim to land your first paying client. Month 3, build momentum to land your next 2 to 3 clients. And if you're still not sure, try this. What if your best friend came to you with this problem? What would you tell them to look out for? What do they absolutely need to do? How should they go about doing it? As for how to deliver your coaching, go with weekly calls and some sort of day-to-day support, whether that's Voxer, email, or WhatsApp. You do not need to reinvent the wheel here, which means all that's left is to decide on your price. Except not even, because I'm just going to tell you the easiest option. Here's why I can recommend a blanket price for you as a new coach, no matter what industry you're in. Because when you're starting out, you are optimizing for learning, not profit yet. This way, you also don't have to get in your head. Am I charging too much, too little? Am I following some perfect formula enough? Nope. You just want something that's high enough to attract serious clients, but not so high that it's going to be a bottleneck for you to start making sales. Plus, after your first few clients, you will know when you're ready to raise it. And then I promise you are going to have a lot better sense of what you want to raise your price to. So what is this sweet spot? $1,500. I actually discovered this by accident with my own first few clients. Long story short, I got my first client ever online for $5,000. I didn't know what I just shared with you, so I did do a fairly complicated formula. I basically broke down how many hours I estimated I would be working and multiplied it by my hourly salary at the time. That client did end up paying me $5,000, but we'll talk more about why and why I kind of just got lucky in just a bit. Because after that first sale, I had over 30 rejections in a row. I kept hearing over and over, "You are too expensive." So I asked myself, what is the lowest price I would be willing to offer without resenting my clients? And I pulled that number out of thin air. It was $1,500. Very soon after that, I got my next 3 clients. Not a coincidence. High five to that, because this is my hope for you, to be able to skip past a lot of the rejections that I had to go through. But if you hear the story and you think you can start with selling a higher price point, go for it. The key is to make this principle work for you. And please, please, please hear this. Your first coaching package does not have to be perfect. Mine definitely wasn't. You're going to make it better as you help more people. But, and this is a big but, don't let trying to get it perfect keep you from getting started, because the most important part comes next. Because until you make that first sale, you do not have a business. But thinking about making that sale, I don't know about you, but this was the scariest part for me starting out. That's why I kept on finding different things to work on that made me feel productive, but didn't actually help me get clients. You might know what I'm talking about. Like when you keep on working on your website or tweaking your design. Things that are important down the road, but in the beginning are just a distraction from you actually getting clients. But remember how I told you before that I went through a period of 30 rejections in a row? One really good thing came out of it. By the end of it, I was incredibly dejected. But there was a silver lining. I stopped seeing being rejected as a big deal. It was kind of like another day, another no, all right. So it is going to feel scary until you've gone through it a few times. Putting yourself out there, selling, potentially getting rejected. But after that, it's gonna feel like no big deal. Because here's what I've realized. Sales only feel scary until after you've done it. Knowing this, if I could go back in time and save myself about 2 years, I'd give myself a nudge. Like, come on, just get started. Which brings us to step 4, start connecting with potential clients and keeping it super simple. You just have to start talking to people. Reach out to your existing network. Let at least one person know about your new coaching business and ask for referrals. Join relevant Facebook groups. And yes, Facebook groups are still a great way to connect. Almost 2 billion people use Facebook groups every single month. And you can join a group and introduce yourself right now. You can also share what you know and who you can help on social media. But that's not all. You're going to use a game-changing strategy. And I originally got this idea from an awesome book, Rich Litvín's The Prosperous Coach. He suggests offering a free coaching session to potential clients. The idea is to make it so transformational that clients absolutely see the value and it makes buying from you a no-brainer. In the book, he recommends 2 hours for these sessions, but that felt a little too long for me. So I had to figure out what worked for me. It wasn't like I had this master plan. One day I saw a woman in a Facebook group asking for help on ads. So I reached out and offered to help her for free. Honestly, I wasn't even thinking about this strategy. I was just trying to get some market research and see if anybody even cared about what I had to offer. She did help me with my market research, and in return, I answered her questions via email. After about 2 weeks of this, one day I open my inbox and see a message from her out of the blue. "You have helped me so much for free. How can I hire you? Because I know I'm gonna get so much more value." That's how I got that lucky $5,000 client that I mentioned earlier. But in case you're wondering, no, you do not have to work for free for 2 weeks to get every single client. That's just not sustainable for anyone. So I asked myself, how can you create the same value but condensed into less than 2 weeks? Long story short, the answer is what I call a free taster session. This is a 30 to 60 minute free session, and this is the important part, where you are super laser focused on helping your client get one takeaway that not only is incredibly valuable, but also demonstrates your expertise. I start these calls by saying, on this call, we are gonna make sure that you walk away with this takeaway that I promised. At the end of the call, if you found it helpful, I'd also love to share more about how I can help you further through my coaching. Does that sound good? This way, you're setting expectations up front, you're both on the same page, and there's no switch and bait. Even if someone doesn't end up buying from you, you can still ask them for a testimonial on the time that you had together and the things that you delivered. So within the next 24 hours, you will have your business idea identified, your first coaching package created and priced, and one message to someone in your network or out there on social media to someone who could potentially connect you with your first paying client. Getting started is really the hardest part. So after the next 24 hours, you will have started building that momentum. Then, to make the most of that, you just keep doing what you've already started, sharing what you know and connecting with potential clients by tapping into groups, other people's audiences, and referrals. If you're excited by how much can be possible for you in a short amount of time, I've got one more thing for you. It's a free PDF that walks you through my escape velocity plan for building a coaching business to replace your salary before you leave your 9-to-5. If you want to build on the momentum of everything we've covered here with getting started, and you want to build your coaching business profitably and strategically, you can get that PDF right here at luisazhou.com/escape velocity plan.